was through that aggression, through that dominance, you know, being the best fighter in the neighborhood, you know, not really taking shit from anybody, you know, getting the props, and you get the props and everything like that. You did dirt. People were scared of you, but you're also scared of that, karma coming back. It's always that balancing act of, preconceived notions or premonitions versus paranoia. Paranoia is just thinking that everyone's out to get you, or, your day's coming. Premonition is something that, it's foreseeing certain things, seeing the land through murky waters or your emotions or whatever. Difference between, a premonition and paranoia is anxiety, but it translates into a lot of things. There's nothing wrong with having concerns, but there's everything with being overly concerned about things. Just got to make sure that you're just not justifying things. Kind of have to know you're right and wrong. Know when you're right. Knowing when you're wrong is, it's imperative. But some of the reasons why it's so it's difficult to eliminate that nigga inside of you, it's because it's always triggered. It's always triggered, but then it wants to come out, and you kind of want it to come out. It's like saying in scripture. That's why I use a lot of scriptural references, because it's important. It's like in the last one, I should have expounded a little bit more about the birds and the bees. A tree is always known by its fruit. You can hear by the fruit of the conversation, exactly the character of the person. But in this particular one, damn, it just lost that thought. It just came to mind as a reference. It'll come back. Things are always, evolving and revolving around a 360, format. But, oh, there it is. Boom. See? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. As much as, you try to change and become better, for yourself, not so much to brag, but to, show and prove to yourself, that thing is always like there. It's always available. It's like what, St. Paul was talking about. I find myself, in conflict with myself, trying to basically, go and do the better thing, but I find myself in my flesh again. I find myself in my fleshly understanding. You can be fully removed from an environment or removed from the activities of the environment, but that's still with you. And it's hard to basically, eliminate that nigga inside of you. It's easy to eliminate a nigga, in fact, violence is something that's encouraged. It's something that's pushed, and violence is based on peer pressure. Not just talking about gun violence. It's just, even the old fisticuffs, That's why I'm, careful about a lot of things, because, conversations lead to funerals. I've seen that happen many times. I've had to, I lost, I lost 4 close friends, just within a matter of, a month. One as of recently, I was just, with him the other day. We were watching the game and talking shit. And, it's weird because, as you never know what people at their end, because they kind of see some type of light, like, he wanted to change. He wanted to, become a different person. It's finally became, aware the error of his ways, and just realized, man, I just been, living, trife this long period of time. I have things, but I didn't go about it in the right way. I think he was just in that period where he was trying to, as he became aware, he was trying to basically, kill that nigga inside of him, man. But didn't really get a chance to, exercise that. It's just another janaza I have to go to.